guy for Above that does about 95% of the submission reviews. If you're wondering, how does this process work? It seems like a big black box. Or my submissions have been waiting for months. How do I make sure they get accepted faster? Or how do I add a new brand? Then this is the right video for you. So grab a dram and let's go through it. Start off with the easy one, which is what happens when you find a new brand. There's no clear direction in the app. Sorry about that. We are working through it, but app development takes a little time, and so we'll go through it here and let you know that it's pretty simple. If you find a new brand or a new distillery, and it's not in the app, it's not listed in that brand section, just send an email to appsupport@aboveapp.com. We'll have that email address down below. Let us know what the name of the distillery is, what country it's from, and we'll work to add those ASAP. The process does require assistance from our database expert, Sean, who does the other 5% of the submissions. And he has a full-time job, so it may take him a couple days to get to it, but we do take those at a very high priority because we know they're required for any submissions. So once we do get that brand accepted, added to the database, then we will send you an email, and then you can put the whiskeys into the submission process, which is what we'll talk about next. Okay, so for the whiskeys themselves, the process is more complicated. We have roughly 5 years of whiskey submissions in our backlog, over 3,000 potentially unique whiskeys waiting to be reviewed. We prize the integrity of our database. It's what we believe makes our app better than many others out there. And so we truly do look at each one individually. There are a lot of errant submissions, so it takes time. On top of working for Above and reviewing submissions and answering emails, I'm also a full-time dad to 2 young kids. We're now going to spend the next 30 minutes showing you photos of my 2 young kids. Just kidding. They take a lot of my time, and so I don't have as much as I would like to devote to this. So the rest of this is going to be explaining what is our order of operations and how can you make sure your whiskeys get through the process as fast as possible. Given the long backlog and limited time for me to do reviews, how do we choose which to review? And this is where I want to give a big shout out to our patrons, the few and the proud. Peter Gerard, Josh Henderson, Sam Biassi, Brian Hughes, Miko Valkiapa, and Mickey something. Y'all are the best. Truly appreciate you. Your submissions always come first for us because you are helping to support the app. And remember, for those of you who don't know, every dollar that goes into our Patreon goes toward hosting costs for the app. It just keeps the app running. It's not making us money. We do it for you, and those people support everyone else who uses the Above app. So we thank you all very much. After the Patreon, this is where things get a bit interesting. I work my way backwards based upon who most recently logged into the app. So that means that folks that logged in yesterday are going to have their submissions right at the top when I start addressing them when I have time. So if you want to be at the top of the freeloader stack, and let's be honest, y'all are freeloaders, log into the app daily so you can jump right to the top of the queue. I know a number of you have emailed me about why it takes so long to get the submissions in. I hope this video helps explain, removes the black box. And no, emailing me doesn't help you move to the front of the line. Similarly, leaving a 1-star review will not change your place in the line. In fact, I'm a pretty vindictive SOB, and so if you leave a 1-star review on Google or Apple, I'm probably going to ignore your reviews. Sean's much nicer, but you got to wait for him. You got to wait for the 5% of the time he's doing those submissions. However, if you leave us a 5-star review, I'll review your current submitted whiskeys within a month. It's not as good as the 2-week promise to our $5 a month Patreons. Again, if you want to join that $5 a month, help support the app. Link is down below. But it's the holiday season and I'm in the giving mood. So again, leave a 5-star review. We'll get to all your submissions currently in the app within 30 days. When reviewing whiskey, first thing I do is look at all the submissions from a single user. So I'll start at the top, say who logged in most recently, and then everything they've submitted. Those of you who have received emails from me know that I send them in batches rather than one at a time, so I try to knock out everything for a single user. If I find a user with submissions that have no photo, no barcode, not a lot of information, other than maybe a name, I'm probably going to skip those submissions. It takes a lot of work to find photos for everything. It takes a lot of work to look up the barcodes, and honestly, my goal is to try to get to as many whiskeys as possible. So I'll generally email those folks, let them know to resubmit with photos with barcodes. It's a free service, and so I get to do what I want. If you want your whiskeys accepted faster, make sure to include that information. So assuming the submission does have the right information, particularly a photo, that's literally the most important thing you can include is a photo of the whiskey. I'll double check it against our database of existing whiskeys. Many times the submitted whiskey already has a duplicate in the database, and it's often one of three different things. Either the bottle has a new design, and so they're submitting because they don't recognize the bottle in the app versus the bottle they're holding. They scanned the barcode and it didn't return any results, or the naming convention is different. The name of the bottle, the same way they think it should be named, is different than what's actually in the app. So I'm going to go through the process for each of those, because helping avoid those mistakes makes sure that we can get through this submission process faster, get to whiskeys faster, and get them back in your queue, back in your collections and tasting notes as fast as possible. So, for the first one, where we have a different bottle design. Here's an example of a bottle of Smokehead that just came out versus what we have in our database. We have a mini bottle. Kind of stupid. Sorry about that. It happens sometimes when we do database transfers, certain images pop up as the key image. We're working on getting through them, but with over 50,000 whiskeys to get to, we can't get to everyone individually. So, when this happens, please do resubmit the whiskey, and we'll add the new image, updating it, but feel free to add that whiskey onto your own tasting list, onto your collections, because it's not going to change the core whiskey. We'll just update with a new image, and all the data will be saved. Issue number 2, where you scan the barcode and it didn't return any results. Don't assume that the whiskey is missing, please. We have done our best to include as many barcodes as we can within the app, but that doesn't mean we have everything that's out there. Barcode information is scanned online, and so while we try to find it, we don't have everything. So we do have a lot of whiskeys without barcodes. So if you scan a whiskey, nothing shows up, please search it with text. Once you've searched it with text, if it's still not there, then you probably have found a new whiskey. But if it is there, you can actually use the whiskey that's in there to add your collection, add your tasting notes, wish list, whatever. And then you can still submit the barcode for the missing whiskey, and that'll tell us, hey, we've got a barcode to update, and we'll update it on our end as we go through the list of submitted whiskeys. Get those so that the next time you scan it, it'll work for you. Issue number 3, where the naming convention is different, is a little bit tricky. Each of us have our own ideas about how a whiskey's name should be captured, particularly those that may be rebottlers or using somebody else. It's distilled here, it's bottled here, it's aged here, it's finished here. They can get complicated. And so we know that there are some unique aspects to whiskey. And so if you don't see your whiskey searching what you think it should be or scanning the barcode, try just searching the brand or the distillery with no other information in it. Sometimes that yields a long list of results, but if you scan through that result frequently, the whiskey you're looking for is there. If you still don't see it, then you probably do have a new whiskey in your hand. Now, good stuff. The whiskey is truly missing from our database. You've included a photo, a barcode, any other relevant information about the whiskey. Will be quickly accepted. We'll send you an email letting you know that that whiskey and any others you've submitted have been accepted. You can go into the app then, add them to your collection, add them to your tasting notes. And honestly, that's it. Most of the time I spend reviewing whiskeys is why someone submitted a whiskey called Buffalo Trace with no other information about it. I do love seeing all the new whiskeys you're out there finding across the world. I've only got my small bubble, and so getting to see the world of whiskey at my fingertips is awesome. And so I really do my best to try to add all the whiskeys you submit, and I love adding the new ones. If you really are tired of my wanton judgment or the way that I choose who gets their whiskey submitted, $5 a month is all it takes to make sure your submissions get addressed within 2 weeks. So it's really not that much, and it all goes, again, to supporting the app. Thank you all for using the app. Thank you especially to our patrons who help make this thing happen. If there's anything else we can do for you, please comment below, send us an email, reach out to us on social media. Our goal is to help you find your next favorite whiskey, and so if we can do anything better to do that, let us know. Cheers.